Hello and welcome to this developer tutorial on how to make your own friend application. So at the moment I'm going to set up a little friend project in FriendCreate and show you how to make a form and store some data in your home disk. So the first thing I'm going to do in this tutorial is to show you a little bit around in FriendCreate. And then we're going to get to the coding part. I'm going to try to minimize the amount of time I do on normal JavaScript coding and focus more on the friend APIs. And I'll also use the friend documentation where I need to show you how you can interact with the environment and view the documentation entirely in the friend workspace. I'm doing this demo on friendsky.cloud, which means that as soon as you've seen this or while looking at it, you can log into your friendsky.cloud account and do the same thing. So first of all, if you don't have FriendCreate for some reason on your system, you can go by the friend marketplace. In here you will find FriendCreate. Don't use FriendCreate 2. It's an alpha version written for Canvas. But if you go down to programming, you will find FriendCreate and you can install that and launch it. Once you installed it, you should be able to use it right away. All your installed applications are available in the software directory in your system system disk. So let's start FriendCreate. FriendCreate is the integrated development environment in Friend. It allows you to develop applications in many different programming languages, but of course that's mostly relevant if you're running a server file system disk where you write server components like modules or libraries or services. In this tutorial, we're just going to be using JavaScript for all operations. So I'm going to be building my project in my projects directory in my home drive. As you can see, I already have some projects here. So I'll start by making a new directory. I'll call this form disk write. Because I'm going to write the contents of a form to a disk. While doing this, I'm also going to be using the documentation. So I'm going to have the developer manual available to me if I need to look up some API specifics. So, and as you can see, I'm running myself up here in the little corner using FriendChat, which is great for collaboration when you're working with other developers. Okay, so I'll just minimize this one and get started. So typical in a project in Friend, you use scripts and templates and cascading style sheets. So I'm going to make those directories first, CSS for cascading style sheets, and then scripts for my JavaScripts, and templates for my HTML-based UI templates. We also have FUI, which is a JSON-driven GUI toolkit, which we will show in a later tutorial. It's currently in alpha testing, so I won't advise you to use it yet. Okay. One thing I may start with first is to define my project. So I'll call it form disk write. Okay, I'm gonna put myself as author, version 1 directly, and for this purposes we're just gonna put that in system. Then it has some basic privileges which allows you to use the system module, files module. Also I want to add access to local doors. Well, that's not actually a requirement, but it's something you can add if you want to have access to network disk drives and so on. Let's just skip that for now. Actually, we're just going to save this project now. So I'm going to go into my home disk. I'm going to go into projects, and I'm going to go into form disk write. There we go. And it already suggested a project file name for me, so I'm just going to save that. And then I start with making my JavaScript launcher file, or launcher script. So that's the executable JavaScript, which is has the suffix of JSX. And I start with the application run function call, and we receive arguments and messages from friend in the first argument. So then we can just go ahead and save this, and I'm just going to put it right here, run.jsx, and there it is. So what I want to do now is I want to add this to my project. So add files, run, and there we go. It adds that to my project. Now the reason why I want to add it to a project is that later on I want to build a package. So, but first of all, let's just now set up the other files that we need. So new file, I'm going to save this into templates, form.html. I'm going to make another file, which is going to be the JavaScript for the form, which is just in plain JS format. And finally, we're going to have our style sheets. So we're going to add that file, form.css. Okay, now we're going to go back to our, and yes, add all these files to the project so that we can get all of them registered for our package. There we go, and then templates, there we go. So the first thing I want to do is I want to open a view window which will have my template inside of it. So it takes some flags like width, height, and title. Actually, I'm going to put the title first, just for looks. And I'm going to set the application name. So, and we're going to add a callback when we close the view. Because we're going to be registering this view on the application object to use it later. There we go. So if I run this now, you'll see that I get a window that pops up. And there we go, an empty window. So the next thing to do is to connect our form. So let's just type something into our form just so it looks like, so that we can see that something is there. Add a HTML header. There we go. I'm also going to connect it automatically to the form script, just so that that's done. I'm going to use the relative prog.dir disk path that connects the script to the subdirectory inside the project folder or project directory. And we're going to connect the style sheets. So now everything is nicely connected. I'm going to add a div just to show that everything is connected. Call that test. In the form, we're going to add a color to the test. And there we go. Need to change that to a lowercase t. Save. And then in the form it has, so when you include a JavaScript in a template, it looks for the application run function. That's something that's done in every scope of your program. So I'm going to add that now. And then I'm going to just immediately, and the application run function is called only after all API resources are initialized. So now I can immediately change the test div. So I'm going to use our shortcut get element by ID. Test inner HTML is yes, we have loaded. So now let's run our script. And something went wrong. So let's see what went wrong. We haven't loaded the template. So we're going into the executable JavaScript and we're going to make a file object. Has an unload callback with the data. And we're going to set the content on the view window. And then everything should be working automatically. And there we go. All elements are loaded. You can see the initial template, you can see the JavaScript altered content, and the style sheets all loaded. So the next step is now to make a form. So we're going to use simple classes that are available automatically from the theme in Friend to make the grid of the form. So the H row is allows you to build column-based grids. So we're just gonna allow you to type in a name. There we go. And we can just copy this so that we have 2 or 3 rows with numbers in here. Age, make that no placeholder number, and we're going to set the default value of 18 years old. And then we can do comment. We can do that the text area. There we go. Nice autocomplete there from the editor. So let's see how this looks. There you go. Now we're going to add a save button. So first, inside the form, we're going to add some padding. There we go, just to make it a bit nicer. And we're going to add then a save button. And we're going to make that an accept button. I think that's accept or check. Let's see. Let's see. Using the font awesome, I can set there. Save. So let's see what that looks like. And there you go. Now to have this thing save, we need to actually add a function callback on it. So we just call it doSave, and that will be run in the scope of the form. so let's do that. So first let's just alert. See if we do this the right way. There you go. So you can see the function works. So what we're going to do then is that we're going to actually save the file. And I'm going to save that directly in my root home. So in another tutorial I can show how you do with it with a file dialog. I think that's going to be a bit out of the scope of this short video. So I'm just going to save directly here and then also load it there. So what we do then is we make a new file object. And we're going to make it a JSON file. And then we can save the content. With that we haven't done yet, so we're going to make the content first. An object. Content name is get your name value. Content age is get your age value. And content comment is your comment value. Let's take a look if we did that correctly. So that is your comment, your age, and your name. Let's see, yeah. So, and then we're going to do an alert after it has been saved. Alert, it was saved. So let's see what happens. Testing. Oh, Agna, that's my name, and I am 38. Can you believe it? Let's do the save. It was saved. So let's take a look if it was here. So here we have the JSON. So let's load it up and see what it looks like. Ah, it's just an object. I forgot an important thing. I forgot to convert it into a string. So that was a stupid mistake. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a JSON object to stringify. So, and now I'm going to run it again. Close this down. There we go. And then I save. Saved. And now we're going to see what it looks like. And there we go. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to make the system load this at runtime. I'm going to output that into where I put yes, we have loaded. And I'm going to use the JSON object. It's very easy to do. And I'm going to do one bold row for each. There we go. And that's going to be the output. So let's see what that does. And there we go. So now you can both store the content on the form and load it up and display it. Now what we've done in this video has used several components of what you can find in the manual. So you can read about this in the manual. As you can see, you can go into looking at the view class, and you can look at the file class, and then how to write templates. So let's take a look here. You have the view class. It shows you how to open a view. It shows you how to which methods there are. It shows you later on. You can also take a look at the file object, which will show you the save and write, and there's also a post method in different ways. The file object also supports binary, so you can do you can save and open and modify binary data, so you can pretty much do anything you want with the file object. And that gives you really something that I've been missing a long time since before Friend, is a true file support in JavaScript over cloud drives. Now I've been using now my home disk to do all this. You could use any type of disk, even a Google Drive, and or a Dropbox, or a remote SSH SFTP disk, for example. So that really makes it powerful, because you can also modify and create your own DOS drivers to plug directly into different server applications that expose functionality and storage through a file system driver, which makes it interesting to run friend applications directly from those drivers, and also interact with them through loading and writing to files. So there are a lot of possibilities here, but they're out of the scope of this video. So I hope you enjoyed that, and if you have any comments about the next video, what you would like to see, then please just put it in the comments below. Okay, signing out.